And here we are, episode 1. Thanks very much for tuning in. It won't always be gimmicky and Star Warsy and all the rest of it. I'm just getting used to iMovie, so it's just a bit of fun, I suppose, really, and to grab the attention. So, what do I want to achieve with this YouTube channel? So, over the next, I don't know, few months, I suppose, really, I'd like to produce a tutorial series showing people how to make a stock removal knife with a simple steel like 1095, which is reasonably easy to heat treat, doesn't require any sort of specialist-ish tools, and is accessible to anybody. I learned a great deal from other YouTube makers as I was coming through, and I still do now. If I'm stuck, I'll go and have a quick look around, see what's what, and across a number of channels and a number of makers, be those people I watch regularly or not, I'll find out how to do something. I'm a very visual learner. I see something, I learn it, I use it, and then I adapt it to things that I need. That's just the way I am. Other people are different. But I want to give a little bit of something back now. I'm sort of 3-4 years in now, got a good skill set, a very high quality product which has been tested and proven in a number of different theatres and environments, and I'm happy. So I want to sort of give it back a little bit now. So I'm going to start with probably one video every couple of weeks, every fortnight or so, and I'll make a knife from start to finish, probably 15-20 minutes per episode, so it doesn't get too boring. But I want to make it accessible to everybody, so not just people that are, have aspirations of becoming a knife maker and perhaps making a living out of it, but just, your average Joe who's got a little workshop, or maybe not, just, a space somewhere to sort of have a crack at it. So I will be obviously using the tools that I've acquired over the years and I've saved for and realised that I've needed, but I'll also be showing and demonstrating methods of achieving the same results with common tools, hand tools, an angle grinder, so on and so forth. And really, the only tool that you actually need to start this is a vise. You will need a vise that you can hold a piece of work in securely and then lock it down to a horizontal surface. Something like this is perfectly sufficient. It's just a bit bigger than my fist, okay, and that is enough to hold a piece of steel so that you can file it or cut it. And it's just got a simple clamp, screw clamp on the bottom, and I think I got this from a boot fair for a couple of quid. Obviously it's British made, so it's going to be quality, but nothing smaller than that really. And if you can get something bigger, a proper engineer's vise, or the more the better, but you will need a vise. Across the piece, with regards to tools, there's really nothing between yourself, your family and your friends that you can't beg, borrow, or even buy at a small cost. Screwfix, Toolstation and the internet these days have made pretty much anything accessible to anybody. And if you haven't got the budget to buy fantastic tools of quality like DeWalt, Metabo, or Makita, so on and so forth, then budget tools will be sufficient for what we need to do, or you need to do. And then if you do wish to carry on with things, and you can upgrade, as I have. I started off with very basic things. It just takes a little longer, but that's all part of the learning process. So, as well as making a knife this year and a few other bits and bobs, I've got some swords to make as well, so I want to share the process of that with you. I made a sword last year, which I really enjoyed the process of. It's kind of nice coming away from the smaller, fastidious work on the Brechfa knives, where everything's got to be absolutely perfect. So with a sword, it's just a bit bigger. Things are still perfect, but for some reason it doesn't feel like as much work. I don't know, but there we are. So I'll make a couple of swords, and I'd really like to have a crack at some armour this year as well. There's a tool called an English wheel, which you can roll sheet steel through and shape it and convex it and concave it and nip it and tuck it. And I'd really like to have a crack at making some armour panels, maybe some shoulder plates, and if I can, a breastplate of some description. I'd love to make some Mandalorian armour as well from the TV show. I'm quite excited about having a try at something like that. Like to stretch myself, just keeps you on your toes and enables you to keep furthering that skill set. So I kind of guess really what I want to aim a channel at is a cross-section of abilities and skills, and access to tools really. So if you're interested in making and cracking on along with me, then I will not hide anything. I'll show you every stage of the process, all of the little tricks, tips and hacks that I've learned along the way. And if you just want to watch for a bit of fun, then by all means do. It's for everybody. A cross-section of people's skills, their abilities and whatever tools they have access to, but I will always give options of 3 or 4 different options of what you could do to achieve the same result. And naturally it will be sometimes slower, but you will get there in the end. And I think a couple of weeks between tutorials, people could actually almost make a long, I suppose, really. But yeah, that's the idea. That's what I want to do. So we'll just make a start and see how things go. Look forward to hearing comments, about what's right, what's wrong, how we can change things up. I've invested in a decent camera. I've got a good microphone. I'm learning iMovie as I go along, and hopefully things will work out well. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the ride. Cheers. Thanks.